Hey everybody, and welcome to the second video in our coding series. In our first video, we set up our coding environment, and then we also started coding with HTML and got our first line on a browser. So we're going to continue building out our website and continue learning about HTML before we get to CSS and JavaScript in upcoming videos. Let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started with where we left off last time. So I'm in PyCharm and I opened up our file from last time that says my first website is our title. So as you see over here in the browser, it shows up on the tab, my first website. And then I have an H1 tag that says this is my first line of code, which was here. And then an H3 tag that says this is another title. So we're going to go ahead and just start setting up our first website, and we're going to get rid of kind of this nonsense that we have. So I'm going to go back up here to H1. Remember, H1 is our heading tags, and they can go from H1 to H6. And H1 is usually the most popular one, and that's the heading of our page. So we can say this is my first website. Okay, we can leave that. We can hit Command S and then come over to our browser and refresh, and then it updates it right here. And then now I'm going to do a subtitle that says practicing HTML. Command S, refresh, practicing HTML. So I'm just going to show you kind of what the rest of the tags look like, just so you can see them. Tab that over. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more. 6. So right now this is H3. If I change this to H2, PyCharm will also update the closing tag for you, which is nice. Oops. 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So I want to save this and I want to refresh it over here. And as you can see, these are the different sizes of the H1 tags. And then remember, it only goes from H1 to H6. All right, so now let's move on to a P tag. And our P tag, remember, is for paragraphs. But say I want to have a bunch of words on the screen without typing a whole bunch of words. There's a really cool plugin that you can add to PyCharm. So if you're in PyCharm and you go over to PyCharm preferences and go to plugins, if you search dummy text generator and click install, it's a text generator that can create a bunch of paragraphs for you so that you don't have to type them. So for example, all I would do is put lorem asterisk and I can say 4, the number 4, hit tab, and you see it just created a bunch of sentences for me. So I can hit Command S, refresh, and you see it created an entire paragraph for me without me having to type a whole bunch of words on the screen. So that's really awesome. Now we have a paragraph. You see that there's a span tag right here. So the span tag, if you want to group words together and kind of edit them on here, you can see that each sentence kind of has a span tag right here. So a cool thing that you can do with span is you can add style to certain parts of your text here. And usually you would do it in CSS, but I'm just going to show you here. So if I were to put style and these quotes come up, and I can say color, and then I could say blue, Command save, and then if I refresh over here, Command R, then this first sentence turns blue. And so that's just if you want to change particular parts of your paragraph, like maybe you want part of it bolded or something, or a different size, something like that, you can use span that goes around a certain sentence or a couple of sentences, and then you can add style to them. But most of the time style is added in CSS. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on to another tag that's usually familiar in HTML. So I'm gonna go to the end of this and hit enter. So I'm on a new line. And another cool thing that you can do is you can add break in between different lines if you were wanting spacing in between something. So if I did another paragraph and I did lorem asterisk 4, hit tab, it creates another sentence for me. So if I'm here, save, refresh. So now I have 2 paragraphs. So if I wanted to add some more space in between the paragraphs, I can use this tag called BR. Command, save, and refresh, and you can see it added a little bit more space in between the paragraphs. So BR is just break. You don't need a closing tag for it, like we've been putting closing tags for the other lines here. But for break, you don't need it. So it's just a cool tool to add if you would like spacing in different parts of your website. Another cool thing that you can do is HR. In HR, we'll add a horizontal line across the page. And so if you wanted a line to break up space in between like different paragraphs, or if you want it under your title, you can just put HR and that will put a straight line straight across your page, which is another cool tool that you can do. All right, so what if I wanted to like bold certain text in my paragraph, or underline certain text or emphasize certain text? I can do that with different tags. So for example, say I'm looking at this sentence right here and I wanted to bold the second word. So I could say B, and then I can do a closing tag, B, right after it. And so if I Command F, Command refresh, you can see here that I bolded the second word. Now, if I wanted to italicize instead of B, I would do the letter I. Command save, Command refresh, and you can see it italicized the second word. Now, if I wanted to emphasize is EM, which kind of does the same thing. When I refresh, see, it looks totally the same. So you could use EM, you could use I. If you wanted to bold, you could do B. You could also do strong. And strong, let me save and then refresh. Strong again just looks like bold. So if you wanted to just emphasize certain things in your paragraph or a certain word in your title, you could add those tags around it. So even if I wanted my first website, what if I wanted that to be italicized? Then I could put an I here, save, refresh, and so now it's italicized in the title. So that's just another cool thing that you can do in line of your text, in your code. But usually, again, you would add style with. Right. Another cool thing that we usually see in our websites are links. And so I'm going to show you how to add a link to your website. So we start with an H tag, not an H tag, I apologize, an A tag. And an A tag stands for anchor. And then as you see, as I hit space, the next part of the code comes up, href. And href just stands for hypertext reference. So where are we getting this link from? So we could say I want everyone to go to facebook.com. And so if I copy it, paste, close it, and then I can say what I want, what words I actually want to show up on the website. I could say, check my Facebook here. Save it, refresh. And as you can see, it says check my Facebook here. And when I click it, it takes me to Facebook. So if we, as you noticed, when I clicked the link, it opened up Facebook over my page. If I wanted it to open up in a new tab, what I can add after my link is the word target, which is here. And then I could say blank, as in I wanted to open it up into a new tab. So if I save it, refresh my page, hit the link, now it opens up in a new tab. So now that we've added a link, if you want to add an image to your page, which of course we always go on websites and see pictures everywhere, what we would do is add an image tag. So IMG is our image tag. The same way we did href up here, like where are we getting the link from, you have to do the same thing with image. What is the source? Where are we getting that image from? So a cool thing that you can do is you can go right onto Google and you could search for any picture that you want. So I could say coding clip art. And I can find a picture, any picture that you want. And I can click on it and say copy image address. Go back to our code, paste it, put a closing tag, save, and then refresh. And you see it adds a image here. Now, if I want my link and my image to not be next to each other, I want one after the other. Remember, I can use my break tag, save, refresh, and see now it comes after my link. So now we have an image, we have a link, we have paragraphs, we have different headings. We're starting to learn a bunch of stuff. The last thing that I kind of want to go over in HTML, and don't worry, like this is not going to conclude everything in HTML, but the cool thing about coding is like as you're coding, it builds on top of each other, everything that you're learning. So you're forever practicing. So you won't cover absolutely everything in HTML. You will learn as you go and build as you go. So one more thing that I want to go over are lists. And we use lists all the time. Say like if I'm grocery shopping or a to-do list or anything like that, we can create lists for. And so I'm going to go up here on line 15 and I'm going to hit enter. And there's two different types of lists that you can do. You can do an unordered list or an ordered list. An ordered list is going to give you numbers because it's ordered. So I like this 1, 2, 3 in order. An unordered list is going to give you bullet points. So they're not as important. They don't need to be in a certain order. They can just be bullet points. So we're going to start with unordered. So OL. And then inside of my ordered list, OL, I'm going to have to put LI to list each item. So I could say, I like to read. Then I can say another one. I like to listen to music. LI again. I like to work out. And so as I save this and then refresh, you can see my list is right here, an ordered list, 1, 2, 3. Now, if I didn't want an unordered list and I wanted it unordered, I just wanted bullet points, then I would change OL to just UL and save, refresh, and now it's bullet points instead of 1, 2, 3. A link. And so now to make our website more attractive, we have to learn how to add CSS, and that's going to be in our upcoming video. So please subscribe below, and I'm also going to add a cheat sheet for HTML so that you can keep practicing what we've been learning. See you in the next video.